Hey everybody, it's your girl Nell. Welcome to the Tiny Studio. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining me here in the Tiny Studio. I just want to say thank you. We are creeping up on 400 subscribers. I am so excited. So excited. But I was thinking about doing something really special when we reach 500 subscribers. And I'm going to talk about it in another video. But when we get to 500 subscribers here in the Tiny Studio, I want to do something special to show my appreciation to all of the supporters of Simply Nails Tiny Studio. Okay, so this is crocheting with Nell, with me. And as we crochet, we're going to review last week's or this past Sunday's episode of Married to Medicine. Now, if you recall, last week we talked about last week's episode was episode 3, a heavenly intervention. This is when the ladies got together and they planned an intervention to get Dr. Heavenly to stop talking about them on her YouTube channel. Now, we went in depth with that whole intervention and Dr. Heavenly's YouTube channel and all that good stuff. So this week, what is going on is that it's the aftermath of the intervention, and we get to see, well, no, not really. We're not necessarily really clear about why Dr. Contessa decided to put together this little intervention for Dr. Heavenly. I really don't get it. I don't understand it. Dr. Contessa, the way you are spinning this is kind of disingenuous to me, because what I'm thinking is you were like cool with Dr. Heavenly and the things that she was saying about what was happening on the show. You were cool with that. And you even made a couple appearances on Dr. Heavenly's YouTube channel. So I'm kind of confused as to where this is all going. And that's why I feel like it's disingenuous, because I feel like you're using Dr. Heavenly as maybe, I think you're using her as like a painting. You know how some people like to hide imperfections in their homes by putting something on top of it or putting something over it, so your eyes are not drawn to what's happening behind the object that's being placed in front of it to hide or camouflage. That's it. I think, Dr. Contessa, that you're using this whole Dr. Heavenly hurt me. She was supposed to be my friend, but she talked about me. You're destroying my family. You're hurting my children. You're destroying my marriage. All of this stuff like that. I think all of that is just camouflage. Dr. Heavenly is being placed out front or in front of a burning bush. And the burning bush is Dr. Scott and Dr. Contessa's marriage. And I think that for a storyline this season, Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott worked on a way or a plan to take the spotlight off of them and to place it somewhere else. But what they don't realize is that we can still see the burning bush, Dr. Contessa. You may have Dr. Heavenly right smack dead in front of it, but we can still see the burning bush. We can still see the flames coming from that bush over there that happens to be your marriage. We can still see it. We, the viewer, we're not unintelligent. We figured it out. We know what this is, okay? We're connoisseurs of reality TV. we kind of understand what you're trying to do, girl, and it's not working. So we pick up at the point where the intervention has gone all wrong. Simone and Quad are going at it for some reason. And, they're basically talking about the same thing, arguing about the same thing. Both of them are not happy with the way Dr. Heavenly talks about them, or, well, yeah, talks about them on her YouTube channel. And so they're yelling and fussing for some reason, which I don't understand. But basically, the gist of it is they're both unhappy with Dr. Heavenly, but Quad says this whole situation could have been handled differently. And the reason why is because Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Contessa have a real friendship. Now, when I keep saying that they have a real friendship, you may say, what do you mean? All the women are friends. What is this real friendship thing about, Nell? Well, when you watch reality TV, you notice and you realize that even though on the show they may say that they're friends, but in reality, when the cameras stop rolling, they're not friends because they really weren't friends to begin with. They're only like co-workers, which is what Nene Leakes kind of hinted at or just outright told us a few seasons ago on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, when she said these are my co-workers, because I believe on the show she was friendly with Sheree. They had like a social relationship or friendship, but she was really cool with Kim. Now everybody else that was on the show, she wasn't friends with them, and they weren't friends with each other. So what these producers do on reality TV, what they do is they bring people onto the show and they try to make it seem or appear as if these people have connections with each other, when in actuality they don't. Another way we were able to see this and watch this on camera and in real time was that whole Portia Fallon situation. When Portia broke out and told us last year, or whenever she told us, that she was hooking up with Fallon, who was friend to the show on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, when she told us on social media that she and Fallon's husband, now ex-husband, were getting it on, we were like, how would you do that to your friend? What's wrong with you, Portia? Oh my God, you are just something else. You are a low down dirty. You are really something else, sister. Why would you sleep with your friend's husband? Why would you creep with your friend's husband? That don't make any sense. And then Portia said, listen, that was not my friend. Even though on the show she was introduced as a friend of Portia, Portia said that wasn't my friend. I was asked by the producers to introduce her to the show as my friend. So when we talk about friend to the show, or when we talk about friends on reality TV, these people really aren't friends. I was watching Tammy Roman. Well, I wasn't watching her. I was listening to the podcast called Sipping Tea with the King. I can't think of the name of it. It was Carlos King's podcast, and he was talking to Tammy Roman, and Tammy says that too. Because remember, Tammy was introduced on Basketball Wives as Shawnee's friend, but she said, no. Shawnee O'Neal and I were not friends. But that's how they introduced us on the show, introduced her on the show to the audience as a friend of Shawnee O'Neal's, to make create a connection. And I don't know if that's good or it's bad. But anyhow, we cleared that up. So when I say that Contessa and Dr. Heavenly were friends off camera, they really had a relationship, a really strong relationship. Strong so, to the fact that Dr. Heavenly said that she loved this woman. This was her friend. She talked to her 2 or 3 times a day. Yes, that is a friend. So to have your friend put you on blast in front of your group of friends on camera, it's going to be broadcast over and over again. Whenever Bravo TV decides to air it, to see someone that you call a close friend put you on blast in front of the whole world, and not only that, but the fact that your friend conspired with 2 people that you're not cool with in order to put you on blast and to make you look bad. That has got to be like a dagger to the heart. And I really felt for Dr. Heavenly then when that was happening to her. I really felt for her. And it's just really sad that all of this went down like that. Now, Dr. Jackie went to have a conversation with Contessa and ask her, maybe you could have done something different. Maybe you could have handled this situation differently. And Dr. Contessa told Dr. Jackie, hey, guess what? She felt reckless and played reckless with me, so I get to play reckless with her. And it was in that moment when she said that I realized how immature she was. I realized how really immature Dr. Contessa is. And it also made me aware of why they have issues and why she and her husband have issues in their marriage. Because tit for tat in a relationship is unhealthy. It's toxic. It's very toxic. If you love me and you say you love me, I want to be treated accordingly. Now, if I do something to you I fuck up, I mess up somewhere down the way, down the friendship road, and I cross some boundaries that should not be crossed, then what I expect you to do as a friend is to come to me and talk to me about it. And we can work it out. Or maybe we can't. But give me a chance. Dr. Contessa didn't even send a carrier pigeon to Dr. Heavenly to give her a heads up about how she was feeling at all. Didn't say anything. Just ambushed her with this intervention, which is what Quad was saying, in this episode, was that, I understand how you feeling because I feel the same way too, but what you have done here is not going to help Dr. Heavenly, and it's certainly not going to help you or help your case any. This is just makes things worse. And I agree. But on Miss Quad and Dr. Heavenly, you in trouble, girl. You in so much trouble. There was a scene with Dr. Heavenly and Anila at a restaurant after all of this situation. I think it was, the next day the scene was set. And Anila and Dr. Heavenly were talking about, what transpired that night at Contessa's house. And she was saying how, she felt bad about talking about Quad and talking about saying that Quad could possibly be involved with married men, right? And so Dr. Heavenly was saying to Anila that she regretted saying all of those things. However, she was just repeating, I guess, a rumor that's been going around about Quad. And then she asked Anila, you've heard it, haven't you? And Anila was like, no, what rumor are you talking about? So then Dr. Heavenly starts talking about this rumor that's been going around about Quad obviously getting busy with somebody's husband. And the way the Bravo producers did it, it was so, I don't know. They made it seem so, girl, You didn't hear that rumor? That rumor about how Quad is messing around with Beep's wife? I mean, husband. You didn't hear that rumor, girl? It is all over Atlanta. But don't tell nobody I told you that. But yeah, that's what's going on. You know, that's what the streets are saying. Or as Candy would say, the streets are talking. That's what's going on in Atlanta, when it comes to Quad Girl. But, I don't believe it, but I'm just saying those are the rumors. See, Dr. Heavenly, you're messy and you're wrong for that. You in trouble, girl. Because then we cut away to Quad, and Quad is saying, hey, me and Dr. Heavenly, we have a friendship, we have a relationship, but I have already told her that if she screw up again, that's gonna be it. Dr. Heavenly, Dr. Heavenly, girl, you's in trouble. Mm-mm-mm. Girl, why you do that? I mean, I don't live in Atlanta, so I don't know anything about rumors going around about Quad getting with somebody else's husband. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about those rumors. But Dr. Heavenly, girlfriend, now I want to know all the tea. And that's wrong. But girl, why you put it out there like that? And then lie. You're gonna lie when the producers ask you about it. You're gonna be like, oh, you know what? I don't want to talk about that. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing. Girl, you know everything according to that little scene you had with Anila. You know everything, girl. You know what's going on. But what's also going on is your relationship with Miss Quad is, I don't know how you're going to make up or apologize your way out of this one, girl. I really don't. But anyhow, I have my crochet hook. What are you working on this week? I am working on an Afghan that's almost completed. I'm probably going to add maybe, I don't know, 20 more rows to this. You've seen it before. I call it the Crayola. What do I call it? I call it the Crayola Crayon Box Afghan. Because it's so colorful. So here she is. She's a lap blanket. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get everything together for the upcoming fall winter season. So I basically got a jump on it with all the Afghans that I'm working on. All the Granny Square Afghans. I'm getting a jump on this season because I want to go ahead and put these on my Instagram page when they, as they are completed, and sell them. I've been tinkering around with the pricing of my Afghans because here's the thing, especially when you're dealing with crochet goods, handcrafted goods, a lot of time goes into these type of projects. Like this Afghan right here. This Afghan, even though I am using a lot of yarn from my stash, I also invested in, more yarn for this project and for all my projects. And, that's at a cost to me, because I'm creating this. And I would say that for many Afghan projects that I put together or that I crochet, I'm using sometimes maybe a hundred or so, maybe $100 to $150 worth of yarn. So right off the bat, this handcrafted Afghan is going to be priced accordingly. And then when you are a crocheter and you crocheting, I crochet for, 2 or 3 hours at a time. And as any crocheter or knitter knows, you know, well, if you work a job outside of your home, you know too that time is what? Money. So being a crafter, being an artist, the time that I spend on creating art, such as this beautiful granny square Afghan, it takes a lot of time. And that timing is considered in the pricing. So, as usual, someone might say, girl, why did you price this Afghan to be so much? Why is the price so high? I can just go over to the Five and Below store, or I could go to Ross, or I could go to Burlington, or I could go to Walmart and get a comforter or something like that for maybe $20 or $30. And I would say you could, but it won't be a Tracy. Well, that's my government name. It won't be a Nell original, will it? No. It won't be a Blue Lotus Hill Designs original, will it? No, it won't. And that's the issue that I have with people who call themselves supporting entrepreneurs or supporting black businesses. They have this thing where they say, well, when we quote them a price and we say, well, this is what it is, then they have an issue with it. They're like, oh, that costs too much. I can just get in my car and go to Walmart and get it. I can just go over to Walmart and get some earrings. Why should I have to pay so much? And I don't understand. What you don't understand is that we have overhead costs. I have to pay my light bill. I have to buy supplies. I drink tea. I drink coffee. I like cream and sugar in my coffee. I like honey in my tea. All those things happen here in the tiny studio. I'm thinking about investing in some Furls crochet hooks. I heard they have an aluminum, a completely all aluminum line. So I was thinking about investing in two and trying them out. That's tools of my trade. That costs money. Furls is not cheap. Not by a long shot, child. Not at all. So I have to figure all of those things into the final cost. What I'm wearing right now, I designed and handcrafted it all. The necklaces, the earrings, the bracelets that I wear. That's all me. That's what I created. That's what I designed. That takes time. Those are materials that have to be sourced. That's time. That's money. Any crafter or artisan will let you know that these things that we use, they're not, they cost as well. So we're not trying to rob you. We just out here doing what we love, and we're trying to make a living while doing it. Okay, so I'm not going in any particular order with this review, but I do want to say that another thing that kind of upset me a little bit was how the producers showed us the scene with Anila struggling to get her kids ready for bed and get them up for school, and get dinner on the table and all of that stuff. But what upset me is that, and it's not the fact that I am not familiar with what it is to be a mom without some type of in-home help. I know what that's all about because I raised 4 children without a nanny or without a maid, a housekeeper, a cook. I did all that myself. I was that person. I was that mom all rolled up into one. And a lot of us viewers are married to medicine. We're not exactly doctors. Our husbands may not be doctors. We're basically doing things on our own. We are the housekeeper, the maid, the nanny, the cook. We're all of those things, because maybe right now we cannot afford to have someone help us in that way. But, and I don't want to say this in a mean way, I think that Anila, I know from the fact that when she called her mom and she asked her mom, "Hey mom, how was you able to do all of this without having the privilege that I have because my husband is a doctor? How did you do all of this?" And I got a little upset because Anila knows exactly how her mother did it. You grew up in that household. You saw how your mother did it. It was rough. It was hard. It was difficult. You know exactly how your mom did it. Prayer. Prayer helped her a great deal. You know? It's difficult. It's not easy being a mom out here. It's not easy being, a mom, a wife. You're struggling to be the best mom and the best wife you can, keep your household together, keeping your family together, and then you have a world outside of your home that you are a part of as well. Because a lot of moms today are working outside, not just inside the home, but also outside of the home. So, yes, it is a lot. But Anila, you got this. You probably already have, a nanny or somebody coming in anyway now. You probably didn't have to struggle that long. I'm sure you were able to find somebody to come in to help you out after Mrs. Gomez left. But I just find that women who are living the lives that some of us women would love to live, I think that we forget that it's a privilege to live that life. And instead of complaining, we really should be thanking the universe, thanking God for for allowing us to be in a position where we can afford to have in-home help, live-in care, nannies, housekeepers, maids, cooks, all of those things to come into our homes to help us. You know? And I just feel that sometimes the way Anila she comes off as if she doesn't know what that was about. But being that she was raised by a mom who did it all, it's just interesting that Anila feels as if it's all foreign territory for her. I don't know. Maybe she did that for the cameras. Who knows? But anyhow, Simone and her husband put together a Halloween party. And of course, the last Halloween party that was on the show took place at Toya and Eugene's home, or as Bravo pointed out, Eugene and Toya's rental home was the set or the scene of the last Cad's Halloween party. And so everyone is getting ready for the Halloween party and excited about the Halloween party, and they all arrive at the spot. You have Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Eugene and their Cleopatra and Dr. Eugene and his Remember the Time outfit, I guess. Their ancient Kemet look, and I forgot what Dr. Simone and her husband would dress. I don't know why I want to call her husband Curtis. His name was not Curtis. I just can't think of his name right now. I forgot what they had on. I mean, I guess it was that unmemorable, because I cannot remember what their costume was. But I do remember Dr. Eugene and Toya's outfit. Okay, because I was like, who y'all supposed to be? Are you supposed to be Toya? You supposed to be Elvira? And who are you supposed to be, Eugene? That's what I thought. Come to find out, they're supposed to be Beyonce and Jay-Z. I thought that was funny. They had the gall and the audacity to come to the Halloween party as billionaires. Child, I don't even want to get on that Toya and Eugene situation, their housing situation. I really don't want to be fooling around with that subject because, you know, they're not the only ones in the black community that have financial issues. There are a lot of us that, move from place to place to place very often because our finances are just funny, or we don't know how to manage our finances. When I first moved down to Florida, we moved quite a bit when we first moved down here. We've been here in my family and I, we've been here in Florida maybe about I want to say about 17 years we've been here. When we first arrived in Florida, in Tampa, we lived in a part of town called Suitcase City. And it was called Suitcase City for a reason. The reason why it was called Suitcase City is because, child, once you move in, don't unpack your suitcase too soon, because you're going to have to close it up and keep on moving. And so when we moved down here, we didn't know the reputation of Suitcase City, but we moved into Suitcase City. And so we lived in Suitcase City, which was just, a province of Tampa. And we lived there for about 6 months. And then we got in the wind because it was just too much drama happening, child. Too much drama happening in Suitcase City. The stories I could tell and that I might tell you one day about those 6 months that we lived in Suitcase City. Girl, it was too much. But we eventually moved, and then we moved into another home, and we stayed there for about, I want to say about 3 years. And then after that, we moved into another home, and we were there, and we were in our forever home for maybe a year. Yes, we were in our forever home for maybe about a year. And then the housing situation, crisis, crash, or whatever happened. And the floor was, excuse me, the rug was pulled out from under us, and it was a sinkhole right there, and we sunk just like millions and millions of Americans during that time period. So when I say I know about moving around too. I know about that. I know what it's like to be in a situation where you have to move. I know what it's like to be in a situation where your husband is laid off from his job, or you're laid off from your job, and your finances become funky funny, and then you got to figure it out. And sometimes figuring it out means you have to rebalance your budget, and then you have to try and see if you can fit your housing expenses with your budget. And when you can't, what do you have to do? You got to move. You have to move. And so I understand that. I've been on and off with my with higher education, and I'm actually right now I'm still in school for I'm still pursuing my higher education goals. So trust me, I understand what it's like to be in a situation where your finances, does not line up with your housing situation. But with Toya and Eugene, I just feel like I just feel like they should be in a better situation than what they're showing on the show. And I really don't want to think, or I don't want to think like, what Dr. Heavenly was saying, or what other people are saying, that they don't know how to manage their money, and that they live above their means. I really don't want to think like that. you know I was hoping that maybe it's a keeping up with the Joneses type of situation, where you have people who want to live that same lifestyle that their friend they're envious of the people in their friend group, and they want to you know portray themselves as being high rollers as well, when they really aren't. I just want to think that it's a situation like that for Eugene and Toya, Dr. Eugene and Toya. I want to think that, but the general consensus is that they just don't know how to manage their money. They might need to find them one of those accountants or money management coaches that help people manage their money and bring a reality to their situation, to help them, you know, live within their means comfortably, but also have the things that's going to make that life comfortable for them. Um, they might need to find a coach, a money management coach, that will help them create something that looks comfortable for them, but is within their means. I don't know, but that's what I'm thinking. I don't know their situation. I don't know these people. I only know what's on TV or what they portray on television. But anyhow, this Halloween party, I cannot remember what Dr. Simone and her husband came as. Um, I can't remember what Dr. Jackie and Curtis was. I know they were there. I cannot remember. I don't even know if Quad was there. I don't remember. But what I do remember is the fact that Anila and Karen arrived to the Halloween party, and they arrived at in a U-Haul truck. And when they stepped out of the truck, they stepped out of the truck with a mover's uniform on, and they honked the horn to get everyone's attention to come outside. And when Toya and Eugene came outside, guess what Anila and her husband said? Hey, we're the Sanja movers, and we're here to help you. We're here to help the Harrises move their things. We're the movers. We're here to help you move. Of course, that was funny as hell. But it was also a really huge dig. A very huge dig. And I think that was really interesting that Anila would feel brave enough and bold enough and courageous enough and you know all of that to sit back and come to the Halloween party in that costume. And it was just really something for her to do that. I guess she really don't like Toya. And we kind of figured all of that out last season because Anila said that Toya was spreading gossip about her all through the neighborhood, talking about her like a dog, and we supposed to be cool. So I'm guessing that even though on the reunion they said they were going to work on their friendship, I'm guessing Anila was like, bump that. Maybe Anila heard uh, part two of the gossip that Toya was spreading about her. And maybe Anila said, you know what? This chick can't be my friend. We'll just be co-workers. That's what it seemed like to me. But they sure did do that. And Dr. Eugene was mad. Toya wasn't mad. She got it. But Dr. Eugene was mad. And of course he was upset because you know how that makes him look as a man. It makes you look bad. It makes you look like you can't take care of your family. That's what it looked like. I mean, you're a doctor. You're making what? 6, 7 figures? You're making, you're making 6, 7 figures and you're moving all the time? What's the deal on that? And I'm guessing that the dynamics in the husbands group, is going to change because Dr. Eugene was not happy at all. So I'm supposing that next week. Oh, the episode ended with all the husbands going out to this axe place. And I'm getting kind of sick of this axe throwing place as one of the scene setups because I've seen it a few times. I've seen it a few times in other on other reality shows. Oh, let's go to the axe place and let's go here and get our aggressions out and throw axes at the target thing. Let's do that. Or how about this other activity activities that they do on these reality shows, the activities of the moment. Oh, let's go to this place where we can wreck things and we can throw TVs and break up glass and furniture and stuff. Let's go to this place and get out our aggressions. Y'all don't have any other place y'all could go to hang out at? That's fun. You know, you don't have any other place to go that y'all could have a good time at besides these two places? I mean, let's do something. Let's go roller skating. What about that? Let's go roller skating. You know, let's have a barbecue where we all barbecue and hang out. Let's do that. What's another thing? Um, let's do a staycation trip where we all go to the amusement park and we hang out at the amusement park with each other. I mean, True Media producers, call me, call Nell. We can have a meeting here in the tiny studio and we can talk about really cool places where the cast can hang out at, you know? But let's go throw axes. Let's go break up stuff. Ugh, that is so played out. The viewer, and viewers like me, we're tired of that place. I mean, I'm trying to think. There were quite a few reality TV shows that where everybody's going to break up furniture, a rage room or a rage place, or let's all go and have a paintball fight. Let's throw axes. Come on now. Y'all can be more creative than that. But anyhow, all the husbands got together and, at this axe throwing place. And I guess Eugene, oh man, I keep forgetting Simone's husband's name. But anyhow, Simone's husband was like, well, and I do not know why I want to call him Bernard. But he looks like a Bernard, doesn't he? But anyhow, he just said, he felt like, well, look, we need to maybe if Karen apologizes and stay out of women's business, maybe we can just get back on track. And Eugene was like, yeah, because I want to get back on track. I don't want this coming up again about my finances and about me moving. But when Anila's husband gets there, and he's thinking everything is cool, he realizes everything is not cool and they've been talking about him, you know? And, Simone's husband, Dr. Simone's husband is like, hey, Karen, maybe you need to apologize. And Karen is like, why do I need to apologize? It was a joke. Why didn't you take it as a joke? And Dr. Eugene was like, what do you mean it was a joke? It wasn't a joke. Or if it was a joke, it was a joke at my expense. Did you see me laughing, nigga? I'm sorry about the N word. But I mean, did you see him? Did you see me laughing? If you didn't see me laughing, then it wasn't a joke. You mean you was you instead of me laughing with you, I'm over here frowned up and everybody else is laughing at me. No, I didn't think it was a joke. I told my wife it's time to go. No, I did not think of it as a joke. And that's how Eugene was feeling. And Karen was like, I'm not apologizing. We did what we did and we said what we said. So what? Get over it. But of course, Dr. Eugene wasn't going to get over that because, I mean, let's face it. Let's face it. On this show, Dr. Eugene and Toya have been having these situations with their finances the entire 9 seasons of this show. The entire 9 seasons, Dr. Eugene and Toya have been having some type of financial issue. So I'm guessing Eugene is just sick and tired of it. I'm guessing this is a really, 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 really tender spot for Dr. Eugene, as it should be. But anyhow, I just want to know who came up with that idea. Probably Anila. Anila probably came up with the idea of the movers. Because it seemed like, she don't F with Toya anyway. That's what it seemed like to me. But I wonder what's going to happen next week on Married to Medicine. I know 2 things. I hope that Dr. Karen eventually breaks down and apologizes to Dr. Eugene. I hope that happens. I hope that Dr. Eugene keeps it together for the rest of the filming time. I hope the rest of his on-camera time, I hope he is able to keep it together, because he really lost it on this episode. I hope that in the next episode, Anila finds herself a good nanny and housekeeper, because I am really tired of her. I am tired of her whining and complaining. So hopefully Dr. Karen has helped her to get another nanny, another Mrs. Gomez. And I really hope that Anila treats the new Mrs. Gomez with respect, because I have a feeling, and this is just me, and this is alleged, I have a feeling Anila is not the nicest person to work for. Why do I say that? I say that because Mrs. Gomez said that she was leaving and never coming back, child. That means she's not coming back for a visit. She's not going to try to see you on Zoom. She's not even going to drop you a postcard. She said she's never coming back. That leads me to believe that, Anila be over there tripping. Here's a tip, Anila. Treat your help with respect. Because when you treat your help, or the people that are helping you or providing services for you, when you treat them with respect, and you treat them with dignity, and you treat them with love, then you'll be able to retain them. And of course, we all know that this thing with Dr. Heavenly, and it seems like Dr. Heavenly is the star of season 9. Hopefully Dr. Heaven can continue to dodge those landmines. Hopefully Dr. Heavenly will not be doing any more gossiping about Quad and what the streets are talking about. But you know what? Even though I'm kind of upset with Dr. Contessa for, this intervention type of thing, I think Dr. Contessa did Dr. Heavenly a favor. Dr. Contessa set this whole situation up without knowing that she was creating an even bigger star out of Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Contessa, your situation or your plan has backfired. Putting Dr. Heavenly in front of your burning bush, it has only helped to make Dr. Heavenly's star shine brighter. Now the whole season is about her. I don't know what's going on with Dr. Contessa. She was on Watch What Happens Live the other night with Lisa Rinna. Lisa Rinna, a refreshed Lisa Rinna. A refreshed in the face Lisa Rinna. I didn't even know that was Dr. Contessa. I didn't. I came in on the episode maybe about 5 minutes into Watch What Happens, 5 or 10 minutes into Watch What Happens Live. I didn't know who that woman was sitting next to Renna. Basically, if I I was looking at Lisa Rinna, and I was like, she's a caricature of herself. This is ridiculous. Who does that? But Rinna looked like a caricature of herself, and I was like, or a drag queen version of herself. And now I looked over at the person next to her. I was like, who is that? Come to find out, that was Dr. Contessa. I don't know what she was doing. I don't know where she got that ugly wig from either. You need to become friends with Dr. Heavenly again, Dr. Contessa, so you can get you a really cool wig. So that's all I have on Married to Medicine, y'all. This review. As I said before, or did I talk about this before? I'm feeling kind of meh. And it's because I lost my mother-in-law um, almost a week ago. And we found out that she was sick maybe about 2 weeks ago, and she was terminal. And it's like all of this information, one after the other, compounded, it's just too much. And so that's why I've been having some meh days and, some down days. But you have to keep pushing, don't you? So I'm not quite feeling I'm not quite myself, but it's going to take some time. And I'm going to miss my mom in love, and my husband, that was his mom, and my children are mourning, and we're all in mourning over here. So if I'm doing too much rambling, I apologize. But thank you for watching and hanging out with me here in the tiny studio. Pray for us. And I'm going to dedicate this video to my mom in love, Francois Foster. I love you. And thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll catch you next time here in the tiny studio.